welcome to another episode. So today is my daughter's official 8th month birthday, as in today. It's so exciting. So when I woke up in the morning, I thought about the journey, how it's been, the things we didn't expect as new parents. Obviously, there's so many things that shock you along the way. I mean, shock you. And then there are things you expect, yes, but you don't know like the magnitude of what it is that you're going to encounter. So as new parents, obviously, we've just had it. Yeah. And then every day you're thinking, oh, today she's 8 months. Oh, today she's 6 months. She's 3 months. She's, like I remember when she turned 3 and you were excited. You're like, oh my God, no more crying at night. She'll be sleeping by 8. Shock. And then, like just the small things. Or maybe at 6 you're thinking, oh, today she'll be eating and she'll leave me alone and I'll be done breastfeeding. Oh, well, yeah. So I'll just go through like just a recap of how it's been for the past. I'll do 0 to 6 months because between 6 and right now it's been a very quick month, and nothing drastic has happened. So at least I can remember the few things that happened between 0 to 6 months. So now your baby's here, and you know how crazy it is. For the first 3 months you've had the stories, and at least you know a little bit of what to expect. And then for me, I think the first, not shocker really, the first thing just as a new parent that was just so crazy for me was trying to wash my baby, trying to give my baby a bath before the navel thing fell off. So that was a bit challenging, and I remember I couldn't do it. So I just let that to my mom. She used to do it, and then finally it fell off, and I was like, at least I can wash her without any fear. And then now your baby grows. The first 3 months, then you go through, you can't really tell if it's colic, especially for a new mom. Like I haven't had a baby before. So now, is it colic? Are they just crying because they're hungry? Are they crying because they need an nappy change? So there's just so much that's going on and you don't know. So I read a lot about colic, and I had like all this. I had colicum, I had Bonisad, I had Infacol, I had, what else? I think those are the ones I had like for colic, and yet really my baby wasn't even colicky. But maybe they're crying because they're tired, and especially like the change of light from day to night, the lights at night, like all that was just so confusing to her. And obviously you'd expect the baby to cry. So, oh my gosh, I just remember the pacing at night every day, like from 8 to 11, you're just on the corridor pacing. And then you'd shift. So one will do for an hour and then another one for another hour. And then, oh my gosh, it was just so funny. Now looking back, I'm like, wow, like we actually went through all that and we survived. So there's that, the crying at night. You don't know if it's colic or not. If it's colic, it's just a monster. I can't even begin to imagine like how it is for mothers with babies who have actual colic. Wow. Anyway, so you're done with your 3. You know how bad it's going to be in the first 3 months, but you don't know really how bad it's going to be to you as a mom. So you just thought about the things that happen to you as a mom, but not the things that happen to the baby that affect you as a mom. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway. Then now you're done with colic and your baby is 3 months. I remember that when she turned 3 months, we popped Shamdor and we were so excited. I remember my sister was even here. We were excited. You think the baby's 1. Like, oh my God, finally she's 3 months and now we can sleep through the night. She can stop crying every night and sleeping at 11. She can, wow. Yeah, none of that happened. It does happen, but it happens so slowly and it's so gradual. You don't really know when the shift happens, but it does happen at some point. So we are done with colic, and then now we start. So when she turned 3 months, you're thinking, okay, now I think I'm ready to go back to work. I can go to work and leave my baby. So let me try and bottle feed her and see if she can actually take the bottle, so that I can be comfortable leaving her and going to work. Shock. So she refused to take the bottle. She didn't want. So she tried the first day and like, I think then she realized, what am I doing? My mom is here. Then she stopped. And from then, she's never even bothered. Like, she won't take the bottle. I've watched 1,000,001 hacks on how to make your baby take the bottle. I've tried most of them. None of them has worked. So I decided, okay, there's no more going back to work. We're going to do this full time. And that was a big change. And that was very shocking. I didn't think really there was a point where a baby would not want to take a bottle. I'm thinking, if it's milk, it's milk. whatever it's coming from, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, it does matter. So if it's a bottle and she knows you're around, she wouldn't want. I'll try hide, I'll try go outside, I'll try whatever. It won't work. She just wouldn't take the bottle. She refused to date. She doesn't take the bottle unless it's water. Yeah, that's also something else. Unless it's water. If it's milk, she doesn't take the bottle. And then now you're done with that phase. And then now the things in between, you go for your first vaccination. And we didn't think much about vaccination. And thinking, okay, we'll just go see the doctor and then she'll be vaccinated and then we'll go home. No, it's when she's injected, when the injection enters her skin and you hear that scream. I cried. And then I remember when she was done, the 2 injections, one here, one here. When we were leaving the room, I ran quickly to the car and I was just telling my husband, oh, I don't think I can do this again. I don't think I can come back for the next vaccination. So we need to convince mom to come with her because I'm not doing this. And he was so traumatized. He was like, I can't believe like we have to do this again. It was torture. It was brutal to us, especially just seeing a baby crying because of something, and you can imagine it's probably too painful for her. It was so brutal, and we're like, we're done. So for the next vaccination, she'll be coming with her grandmother, and then we'll just be waiting to hear the stories. Yeah, and then the next vaccination is due, and you're thinking, what kind of a parent am I? So you go with the baby. Funny thing, she didn't cry that much for the second vaccination. She didn't cry that much. She cries just a little bit, like just for the prick, and then she's done. She forgets whatever it is. And then so that part is shocking. And then the other part that's shocking is not really shocking. So you know your baby is probably going to get a reaction after the vaccine. But for the baby-friendly vaccine, normally they don't get much of a reaction. So you just try monitor. So we were told, when it gets to evening time and you can just try maybe give her Calpol. If she's fine, really, there's nothing much that will happen. And then so we did that. We just decided to sleep. And I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, this baby is burning hot. Like, she was burning. And then we took her temperature, I think it was like at 38 point something, close to 39. If not 39, I can't remember. Funny thing, we didn't freak out. I think probably my husband was too freaked out to a point where he's like, okay, I'm not going to show how freaked out I am. So we were also calm, like, okay, fine. We just took a wet cloth, put on her forehead, and then gave her Calpol. And like in 30 minutes, she was fine. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, okay. Like, I'm thinking like at 39 degrees, I'd be freaking out. Like, I'm like, we need to go to the hospital. But yeah, and she was fine. And from then, like for the subsequent vaccines, you know how to monitor. Really, she didn't have any other. She never had temperatures high after the other vaccines. But we were just very careful about it to make sure we monitor her temperature as regularly as we can and then give her Calpol just in case. Yeah, and then the vaccine phase was over. We still haven't gotten over the vaccine thing. Every time she's due, we're like, is it mandatory? We read about it, like, is this vaccine necessary? Do we have to go? But we are pro-vaccine, so we always just go anyway. But yeah, like, the vaccines are so brutal. So every time I go, I ask the nurse, is it painful? Will she cry? No. Like, I want to be prepared myself. Like, I feel like it's more painful to me than it is to her. But yeah, then you're done. You get used to the vaccine anyway. And then I think for me, the other major thing that happened was, so now after 4 months, you get into the weaning stage. No, between just somewhere around 4 or 5 months, they start teething. Can I tell you, this is one of the teething things you got her. So apparently it's supposed to be a teething kind of toy. So she's supposed to be biting on it because it's just silicone. She didn't bother with it. She actually only just plays with it. She started playing with it very recently. Now is when she's enjoying it. And she already has teeth. At least the 2 teeth have already popped out. But this is the time now she's actually getting to love the toy. And we got the toy specifically for teething. I've got so many toys. I think they can fill a small box. So many things for teething, which I thought would help her during the teething time. But never really, like, she wouldn't put anything in her mouth to help with teething. So I got her the Ashton powder and all that. Like, just trying different things to help with teething. Until at one point when it got too severe and I had to use the Calpol, at least for teething, and it died. So when she's teething, you're thinking the tooth is about to come to pop. No, it doesn't happen then just after a few months later, then that's when the teeth, because I remember she started probably teething at 4 months, but got her teeth between 6-7 months. So it's not like, oh, she's teething, then 2 weeks, then they'll pop out. No, she'll teeth and then stop and then start drooling and teething and then stop and then drooling again and then stop. And then one day when you've completely forgotten about the teething thing, they'll pop. So yeah, so that was interesting that I didn't know. So I used to read every time, when do babies teeth? When do babies teeth? So until I asked my mom when I had my teeth, and she told me at 7 months. So at least my husband had his at 4 months. I had mine at 7 months. So can you imagine between 4 months and 7 months we are waiting. But anyway, yeah, that was interesting. You even wonder, why is it exciting to have teeth? Really, there's nothing exciting. Okay, it's obviously a big milestone. Your baby's growing, it shows your baby's healthy. But I'm thinking, so you can imagine between 4 and 7 months, I used to read, why is my baby not teethy? What can I do for my baby to teeth? And then I read one of the articles about my lack of calcium could be the reason why the baby is taking long to teeth. And I pumped my body with all the calcium in the world. So I'm thinking, no, I can't be the reason why my baby is not teething. I don't want to be a parent who am the reason why my baby's development is not how it is. And I beat myself up about every milestone, which is a bad thing. I'm just trying to relax about it. And yeah, so my husband's like, Dana, eventually your baby's going to have 32 teeth when she's an adult. It doesn't matter where they pop out. Just relax. It's going to happen. But I'm like, but no, it's supposed to be happening now. But anyway, so finally she got her teeth. Yeah, and then she'll bite your nipple when you're breastfeeding. Sometimes she bites. Yeah, she bites when you're breastfeeding. But you can't even get angry. I mean, for what? It's painful, but you just, sometimes I even laugh. I think maybe that encourages her, but anyway, we'll figure out a way. So you go through the teething, and yeah, it's just one of those things. And then now you get into weaning. Oh my gosh, I remember I couldn't wait for the baby to be 6 months. I used to tell my husband, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of breastfeeding. I can't wait for her to be 6 so she can leave me alone and eat her food, and just maybe we get a formula milk. And then maybe once in a while I can breastfeed her, but I'm tired of breastfeeding 24/7. I need a break. And then you start weaning and you realize, nah, it's not going to be like that. It's not like that. So, yeah. So, right now we're really struggling with weaning. Okay, at least she's eating. She's eating. We're really struggling with finding, like, proper meals for her that wouldn't lead to constipation, because constipation is such a huge thing right now. Getting the nutritionist, getting all these nutrition and meal plans from wherever. You just do everything you can possibly do. Talking to all moms, talking to my mom, asking them. So one will tell you, oh, achana na uji. Another one will be like, give her porridge. And then another one will be like, achana na, one nutritionist will tell us, achana na spinach. Another nutritionist will be like, pump spinach in her body, So it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy, but at least one thing for sure is when she's 1, she'll be fine. Right now, it's just she will enjoy something, but then constipation. So I really try to balance. Like I'm even still doing my research on foods that are high on fiber, foods that are low on fiber, foods that are just high on starch and low on fiber. So like doing all this research and all that, and then trying to come up with like a proper combination. Sometimes I don't want to combine meals. If she likes just potatoes, mashed potatoes, and maybe I put some capsicum or whatever, she likes that, she will just eat that. And then maybe once in a while give her some greens. It's messy. She doesn't like popo. I don't think popo really does much with constipation anyway. So you're told what to feed her, but then you do your research and you realize this really does nothing much for constipation. If I'm feeding her for the health benefit, then that's fine. But if I'm feeding her for constipation, it's just a myth. You will think this does well for constipation, but really doesn't. Or you think maybe porridge is good for the baby, yes, but then you just giving your baby a lot of appetizer, so they'll want to feed more. I don't know. It's just a lot of balance. At some point, I'm even just thinking maybe I should do child nutrition as a course, just study it, so that I'm able to advise other moms on how to go about like milk, because things change as well. Like what you thought was good back then, what our parents thought was good back then, there's a lot of research and development that has been done over time, and it's probably it's probably just a myth, or the whole research has been, thwarted by something else. Like, things change, times change, new things come, and it's good to just move with time and not just get stuck up in the old traditional ways of doing things. And I always want to be the kind of parent who just moving with time. I don't want to be stuck up in the old mentality of how to do things, what to feed your child. I want to feed my child like delicious meals and at the same time healthy. Yeah, so like nowadays I just try and add like natural spices to the food. Obviously spices are natural. Like I add a few mild things to the food. Like, say if I'm doing like an apple puree, I'd want to do maybe add some cinnamon into the apple puree so it's a bit delicious. If I'm doing, I don't know, if I'm doing mashed potatoes, maybe just add a bit of capsicum, do the yellow and red one, blend it. It tastes so good. I enjoy it myself. So yeah, just playing around with food, but also just watching over their benefits to the baby. And then, yeah, so right now we're really, really struggling with weaning. And I think for me, weaning is probably the hardest. Okay, she's not really weaning. She's done weaning. She's at least I can leave her with just food and she'll be fine. So it's just whatever we are struggling with right now is just getting the right combination of foods and getting the right food. Some people find it so easy, some people find it hard. I always just go over and above in whatever it is I'm doing. I research a lot, and all that messes up with my head, and I end up just messing up everything. Sometimes I'm like, why can't I just calm down and maybe just do the simple things? And I'm like, no, we're not doing the simple things. We are researching before we do whatever it is we are told to do, because it can be better. Yeah. And then something else I've also remembered with time, what I was struggling with was eczema as well. Okay, she had very mild eczema, and especially where she has folds. She's a very chubby baby. So I realized it's just heat, so much heat and sweat. And if she's cooler and well moisturized, the eczema just sort of like disappears. So I found a way of working around that. I got so many creams and so many things from the doctor. I got La Roche-Posay for, I think it's called CC Plus or something. I got like 3 different kinds of Avenos for eczema. I got Dove eczema therapy. And then finally I just decided to stick to Aquaphor, because Aquaphor worked for the drool scars. And finally, like Aquaphor also worked for the eczema. The problem with Aquaphor is it just stays on the surface, so you have to like keep reapplying it. So I always just walk around with the Aquaphor, just keep reapplying. It really helps with coating and just protecting the skin underneath. And yeah, for me at least, I can swear by Aquaphor for baby eczema. And I wasn't ready to go the steroids way, so anything that works, even if it works temporarily, it's something that is not too strong for the baby, or something that's a bit too permanent. I really, really wanted to avoid any steroids and all that for the eczema, because it's not a serious kind of eczema. It's just heat and sweat. And yeah, just heat and sweat. Even like if I overdress at night, then she'll wake up and you'll see the eczema is starting to form. It's sort of like a heat rash. But anyway, yeah. So at least I sorted that out by myself after a lot of consultations and all that, and getting all these sorts of creams. Some are just so damn expensive. I just stuck to Aquaphor, and we stuck by it, and it worked. And then also something else was the cradle cup. So yeah, she's one of those babies who had a very thick cradle cup. So for me, what worked, obviously, just washing her head every time I give her a shower. She has a lot of hair, so like trying to get in there, it's very tricky, and you can't like scrub it off. So what I used to do was just apply Vaseline or just any kind of petroleum jelly on the scalp, and then it will just come off on its own. So I did that for a while, not so long, for just a few weeks or so, and it came off. Yeah. And yeah, that at least for that, I wasn't using shampoo, mind you. I was just using the head to toe kind of shower gel. So that, and then just mild petroleum jelly, that got rid of the cradle cup. And yeah, so sometimes it's not the more sophisticated or more advanced kind of products that help. It's the simple things. So for us, those are some of the things we've been going through for the past 6 months. So far, it's been 8 months, but really nothing much between 6 and now. So maybe as we go by, I can update you on some of the things that as a new parent you get to go through, and some of the hacks I use to make those things a little bit better. And also, yeah, I'll be updating on my nursery. I want to do a Montessori parenting thing. I don't want to do Montessori schooling. Like for school, I'll definitely not do Montessori. But for parenting, I'd love to do Montessori. So at least you can get both, at least the best from both worlds, from the Montessori kind of parenting and another system kind of school. And yeah, I'll keep updating. I'll do a segment on my YouTube channel on the progress of the Montessori bedroom. And yeah, and then also give you an update of my research and things that work for Montessori kind of parenting. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and talk to your friends about it. And let's keep the page growing. See you. Bye.